Hey everyone, this is Darkener, and here's my second Healing Priest DPS test video. So I decided to figure out what was the try to push DPS on Healing Priest. If you're going to be leveling and soloing and doing stuff like that, or you want to get the maximum DPS out of your Healing Priest. Which is the way to go and how is it going to work. So I'll just get into this. This is the Discipline Priest. Alright, first we'll go over the talents I picked. Alright, so in this one I chose to go with Power Word Solace just to try that out. I figured this would have a little bit more synergy with Discipline. Plus I wasn't sure how mana would hold up in the Holy Chastise Chakra. The Holy Fire and Smite spells are very cheap. However, in Discipline they're cheaper, but they're not quite as cheap. And I also have Halo in my rotation, which costs a bunch. So I figure, well, okay, I'll just see if I can weave Power Word Solace into some of my other atonement type DPS spells. And of course, the only other real Power Infusion, I kept that the same, so it would be similar to the other tests, and Halo, of course. Okay. Alright. What glyphs? So just want to make sure. Okay, Holy Fire, Glyph of Smite. Alright, same glyphs I had as Holy. Of course, with Power Word Solace, I still have Shadow Fiend, so I'm still have my Shadow Fiend. Do Power Infusion, then cast Shadow Fiend, then start leading into my DPS spells. Notice my DPS is already at almost 40k. Well, it's at 40k. So right off the bat, with Shadow Fiend, a Power Infusion, Shadow Fiend, and then casting my DPS spells, I start off really strong with 40k DPS. Now I'm falling behind here. I'm down to 33k, 32, 31. That's because the normal rotation, here I'll go into it a little bit more. Alright, so the rotation I was using started out with a Penance, Holy Fire, instant Holy Fire, Smite, 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 Smite. That's 4 smites, then a Power Word Solace, Power Word Solace, Power Word Solace, 3 Power Word Solace, and it goes back to Penance again, Holy Fire, 4 smites. 4 smites because especially with Power Infusion up, I can actually get 5 smites in, but for this rotation I just had 4 smites in it. 3 Power Word Solace, really important because as you can see, my mana is at 78%. I'm probably about a couple minutes into this test now. But every time I cast Halo, my mana bar notches way down. So as I go through the fight, if it were not for Halo, my mana would be well under much more control. Halo is just very expensive to cast, and basically what I have to start doing is, even with the 3 Power Word Solaces, I start just taking a whole bunch of Power Word Solaces. You know, I've got Power Infusion. Alright, I'm going to give up some DPS. I'm at 25k. And I'm going to get my mana back up to try and recover from that Halo so I can do another Halo. Alright, my DPS is sticking right around the high 25k, 25.5k DPS. Now the important thing with this DPS rotation is this would also heal if there was a target here that within 15 yards that was friendly, it would be getting heals. Okay, so my Shadow Fiend is up, cast it. So this should drive my DPS up a little bit. 26.2k. Also regen some mana. This is one of the things with Power Word Solace plus Shadow Fiend, you're regenerating a lot of mana. In fact, if your Shadow Fiend is regenerating mana, you can be casting Power Word Solace and regenerating mana at the same time. So you're getting your 2k mana from your Power Word Solace and your, I think it was about 6k per hit for Shadow Fiend. Mindbender's about 4.5k per hit, but you can do it every minute. Alright, so Dummy's at about 80% now. My DPS is around 26.3k. I'm going to fast forward. Notice as I fast forward, my mana is gradually going down. Still at 26.6k DPS. So when I'm casting Power Word Solace, I'm regenerating mana. See, I went through a regeneration phase where I did, actually what I did was I did I was down low and I thought, okay, I've got Power Infusion. I'm going to do a Shadow Fiend plus Hymn of Hope. So I'm getting 10k back from the Shadow Fiend and 7k ticks from the Hymn of Hope. And I regenerated a lot of mana there, 60 something percent. Alright. So now I'm about 8, well I shouldn't say 8 minutes because I was going through the talents at the beginning, but 8 minutes into the fight, 30% mana. Aside from the Power Word Solaces, and the Holy Fires, well, Holy Fire does is a part of a home. So aside from Power Word Solace, I'm getting heals from Penance, Smite, and Holy Fire. You just don't see them here. So, and the DPS is 25.9 right now. So I would say that this pretty much averaged out. I'm getting mana starved, so the DPS starts running down. 26k DPS. Shadow Fiend back again. Regenerate more mana. $26.4k DPS. Alright, so testing. 26.3k DPS. Alright. So here my mana is down to 2%, and I can't really do much. I have to do Solace to get some mana back, but then as soon as I cast something, my mana is gone. My Shadow Fiend's on cooldown still. So I figure, okay, well, this is 12 minutes into the fight. Shadow Fiend's about to come off cooldown, so I could have just Power Word Solaced and, cast a few heals here, but I figure I'm just going to stop right there. 26k DPS, 26.1. Significantly less than the Holy Priest at 35.3, so almost 10k DPS difference between the Holy Priest and the Discipline Priest. I wasn't exactly maximizing the Discipline Priest's DPS rotation because I had to be very, very careful to keep the mana under control. With a Holy Priest, I was able to keep it kind of to the maximum DPS. So Smite, 33.6% here, and Power Word Solace, 22.6%. This damage is distributed a lot more. I was casting a lot more different spells. The Holy Priest's big DPS was Smite, which was 70 plus percent. So Smite, Power Word Solace. Smite was 5.8 million, Power Word Solace 3.9 million, Penance 3.4 million, Holy Fire down here at 9.2%, 1.6 million. Then Halo 1.2 million, Shadow Word Pain. I really wasn't doing Shadow Word Pain a whole lot during this discipline test because I was afraid, well, first of all, I don't have a DPS increase on Shadow Word Pain, and I was worried about casting it as additional mana cost. Plus, it doesn't give me any healing from Atonement, so, but it does tick for fairly decent DPS, so if you want to squeeze Shadow Word Pain into the rotation if you're doing DPS as a Discipline Priest with some healing, you can pretty much rely on 26k DPS, and I would say about 20 something k healing, maybe 20k healing, because it's not all this DPS isn't all healing. Halo is, so Halo's a damage that also heals. Alright, so there you have it. That is the Healing Priest DPS as Discipline and DPS as Holy was the video before this one. So just whichever one you prefer. It just depends on what you need. If you want to maximize DPS and only heal when you need to, then maybe you'd want to go Holy when you're grinding. Or Discipline is fine as well. Your damage isn't going to be quite as strong, so if you're soloing, it's going to take a little bit longer. The boss on the Holy Priest test died. It didn't take quite so long. This, I basically started running out of mana. That's the other thing is whether or not you want to just keep going and have less downtime. The Holy Priest in DPS Chakra, you'll have a lot less downtime soloing or questing. But if you're in a group, you may want to be Discipline DPS because your DPS is going to be throwing out heals on your party. So both are very viable. Both are pretty good if you're leveling with other people and going out and doing quests. Then the DPS isn't quite as important because you've got some DPS help. So go ahead and try Discipline out. If you're out by yourself, maybe try Holy. And there you've got it. Of course, you can do Shadow, and there's probably a million videos out there that show you how Shadow Priests do on these test dummies. So I don't need to do that. They're already out there. Just go watch one. And if you want to level as Shadow, then that's perfectly fine as well too. I leveled my priest on this beta as Shadow, only because I was just trying to do it as quickly as possible, and I wanted to be able to get through mobs easier. Alright, so that's preparing for Mists of Pandaria, looking at the Healing Priest. This is Discipline Priest DPS, 26k. That's with full raid buffs. So you won't see that, soloing or anything like that. But if you were in a raid environment, that's what you would get, about 26k. Alright, over now.